Good evening and welcome to the historic Watertown Civic Arena, the legendary home of the Watertown Arrows. You're watching Arrow TV, the best high school sports broadcast brought to you entirely by high school students and Watertown community members. I am Cam Corey, I'm your host for tonight's action between the Watertown Arrows and the Yankton Gazelles. It is Parents' Night here in the Watertown Civic Arena. We are joined, but before we get to game action, we are joined with a special guest here in the Arrow TV booth and by Caleb Fisher. Caleb is a sophomore here at Watertown High School.
Yeah, I sure am.
Well, welcome to the Arrow TV booth, Caleb.
A little exciting.
Little exciting. He didn't know he was coming on camera today. If you knew that, you said you'd have wore something, maybe a suit coat.
A little nicer, yeah. A little nicer here.
Well, you've got a special message here tonight for our viewers, Caleb. And before we get to that, you're part of a high school group called Hope Squad.
Yes, I sure am.
Tell us a little bit about what is Hope Squad here at Watertown High School.
So Hope Squad in Watertown is a team of students, like any student in the school, that is trying to spread awareness and prevention of suicide.
Wow, that's a deep subject.
Yes.
Something that, what got you to, if you don't mind sharing, involved in this to be a special cause for you to be involved?
So for me, it was just, I always liked helping out my community and my friends, family, that I just kind of wanted to learn more and get deeper into touch and trying to help everybody.
That's very good calling, Caleb. So Hope Squad at Watertown High School, how often do you meet as a group?
So we meet every Tuesday in the lunchroom of the high school right after lunch during advisories.
And then do you have an advisor for Hope Squad, and who is that?
So that is Michelle Olson, one of the counselors here at Watertown. She puts pretty much the whole thing on.
Very good. How many people from Watertown, Caleb, are involved with Hope Squad from Watertown High School?
I would say probably around the 15 to 20 range. There's
wow,
quite a few.
That is yeah. And so what types of things does Hope Squad do?
So we will do, we will put on different events and organizations to spread awareness. There was Red Ribbon Week that happened last week.
What was that?
Red Ribbon Week.
Red Ribbon, yes.
That happened last week. They were trying to promote a little bit. And we do some different activities. We're trying to come up with some stuff right now for later on the school year. So hopefully it turns out to be a good year.
Well, you've got an event coming up on November 18th at the D.D. Miller Auditorium. And what event is that? What do you have coming up?
So that is an event. There will be, it's my Ascension, and Emma B is going to be a speaker talking about her story and how her trauma in the past is helping others to push through their hard, struggling time.
So Emma B is, this story's about her?
Yes. So this story is about her it's about her, and she's trying to tell others so that she can help.
Very good. Well, we've got a short clip that tells a little bit about Ascension. Why don't we go ahead and watch that?
Hey, Arrow fans. This one's off the court, but straight from the heart.
Coming up Tuesday, November 18th at 6:30 p.m., join us at the D.D. Miller Auditorium for a special screening of My Ascension.
It's an inspiring true story of Emma B., a high school cheerleader who turned a tragedy into a mission to save lives.
You'll get to meet Emma in person, hear her message of hope, and see how one voice can make a huge difference.
It's free, it's powerful, and it's happening right here in Watertown. Don't miss My Ascension, November 18th, 6:30 p.m. at D.D. Miller Auditorium. Bye.
My Ascension is the movie that'll be playing, and when will My Ascension be playing?
So that is November 18th at 6:30 to 8 o'clock. There's no charge, and feel free to bring your children. We will be providing childcare.
So childcare is available.
Yep.
You guys have thought of that, and it's at the D.D. Miller Auditorium
Yes.
here on the campus of Watertown High School.
Exactly right.
So those were a couple of Watertown High School students that we saw in that short video talking
Yep.
about My Ascension. Can you give them a shout out?
Oh gosh, I got to remember their names now.
Well, that's all right. I put
Yep.
you on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
You know, that's like the broadcaster thing. You don't ever ask a question that you don't know the answer to,
Yep.
and I just asked you a question. But I do want to give a shout out to those two young ladies.
Yes,
Fantastic
they did
job.
a great job.
Great job and being on camera and advocating. So very good. Caleb, I want to thank you for joining me here on Aero TV. More than that, I want to thank you for being involved as a high school student and doing something that truly makes a difference in people's lives. And if people are down on their luck, there's always people to talk to, right?
There's always people at the high school. Just reach out. We're glad to come help.
Very good. Well, thank you again, Caleb Fisher, a sophomore here at Watertown High School, joining us and talking about My Ascension. Again, come join them. It is at the D.D. Miller Auditorium on November 18th, 6:30 to 8. Free, no charge, child care provided. So there we go.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Glad to have you.
Did you know sometimes one story can change the way you see the world?
You're right, Suzanne. Join us Tuesday, November 18th at 6:30 p.m. in the D.D. Miller Auditorium for My Ascension, a powerful documentary about hope, healing, and finding strength.
You'll meet Emma, who turned her own pain into purpose and is inspiring people everywhere.
This event is free, open to everybody, and it even includes on-site childcare.
Come be part of the conversation, November 18th, 6:30 p.m. at the D.D. Miller Auditorium.
And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. One last shout out to Caleb Fisher, a sophomore at Watertown High School, joining us here on Aero TV, talking about My Ascension. One last plug. Join them on November 18th at the D.D. Miller Auditorium from 6:30 to 8, no charge. We've got a volleyball game here in the Watertown Civic Arena. I'm joined once again in the Aero TV booth by Kirk Ellis. So good evening, Kirk.
Good evening, Cam. How are we doing tonight?
Hey, doing great. It's been a couple weeks since you've joined me up here in the Aero TV booth, and we've had a lot of volleyball since last time we talked.
You know, we've had a heck of a lot of volleyball. We had a rough stretch in there that I think everybody kind of seen there, but the last several matches have been going pretty well for us.
So let's talk about that rough stretch. That was after, really, we've been on the road for quite a while. Did have one home match here in that time, but during that rough stretch, what were we seeing out of our arrows? And is it just the dog days of the season?
You know, I think it was just getting to the point where some of the girls were tired. You know, it was kind of the grind of the season. The other thing is they were trying to figure out who was going to play where the best matchups were within the team, and just communication as well.
Yeah, I think we talked about that, and we've seen a couple of different rotations throughout this season, some different front row players, some different back row players, different rotations, and I think that's a testament to the depth of this Watertown Aero team, that there is a lot of girls that, you know, are sitting on the bench that would be starting for a lot of teams at the AA level.
You know, no, without a doubt. I mean, Watertown, it's rare for Watertown, you know, to have some height, especially in girls sports, and we have a lot of height and some really good front row players right now that are getting an opportunity to play at this level, which is great for the years to come.
Well, we had, since the last time we were at home, we had the East-West tournament, and can you tell us a little bit about what is the East-West tournament?
You know, East-West is just a great opportunity to get some games in, you know, because it's a tournament setting. It's only three sets. So it's a little quicker turnaround. It is where all the West River schools come over to the eastern side of the state this year. We played in Brandon Valley, and we had a really good time down there. You know, we played 5 total teams and won all 5, which was which was a great turnaround. Every single girl got in throughout the 2-day deal, which was even better to see, to get some of those girls that sit on that bench for a while on a long weekend that got in, and that was awesome.
And that is something that Coach Bellum has done a lot of in that East-West tournament, is tries to get everybody into at least one match during that East-West tournament. And this year, as you mentioned, it was hosted on the eastern side of the state. Some volleyball matches were played in Brandon Valley. Some were in Harrisburg. You were obviously in Brandon Valley watching those games. I happened to go to Harrisburg and watched the other side, which included this Yankton Gazelle team that we're going to see here tonight play down in that tournament. But in many ways, and volleyball has been, the quality of volleyball has been getting better across the state, but it's taken a little bit for maybe that western side to catch up a little bit.
Absolutely, you know, and I think it's tougher out there just because they don't have all the Sioux Falls schools and your East River Conference, you know, your Eastern South Dakota Conference like we have here. You know, they play a lot of different teams at a lot of different levels, and I think it is tougher when it comes to that.
So when you talk about the East-West tournament, they played 5 matches and defeated Spearfish, which is a pretty good team this year, actually. You know, they were a good team last year, well-coached team, and they defeated them in 2-0. Again, you mentioned that. It's a best-of-3 in this tournament setting. Rapid City Stevens always plays and puts a good roster together. The Arrows defeated them in 2-1. And then Rapid City Central, they beat them 2-0. Douglas, what a story out of Douglas and their coach. I don't know if you're familiar with that, and, you know, starting the season off, just a young lady having a heart attack at going to practice. And I saw her sitting on the bench against Douglas recently, so she is back. She has not taken over the head reins, but we wish her all the best out there in Douglas. And then Sturgis, another team that the Arrows did defeat 2-0. Their most recent match was in Aberdeen, and the Arrows came away with a 3-1 win, and that's always a hard place to play.
You know, it is. It's very similar to the Civic Arena, and there's a lot of room. There's a lot of space up there in Aberdeen to play. The other thing is that Aberdeen's a rivalry with Watertown, just like Brookings is, and they come to play. You know, they're absolutely ready. Of course, they got Lauren Burkhart, who's, you know, a phenomenal athlete. When we were up there, she was getting credit. She's a junior for her 1,000th kill. She had got it that weekend at the East-West tournament, so that speaks to her ability as a junior.
Believe she's committed to go to SDSU to play some basketball.
She is. Sister was an All-American there, so I mean, they're all both very good athletes, yeah. But Watertown did come away with a win there, and it was awesome to see.
You know, 2 things out of that Aberdeen Golden Eagles stadium. One, I don't like watching as a spectator there. You're so far away from the action. But you know, it's kind of okay because their concession stand there is amazing. I mean, I love their concession stand.
Their popcorn is the best in the state, hands down. I agree with you, Cam. They also have chicken strips, which who has chicken strips at?
Agreed. So, you know, it makes sitting back and enjoying the show just a little bit easier there. Well, here we've got the Yankton Gazelles here in the Watertown Civic Arena tonight. What are you expecting out of our Watertown Arrows?
Well, you know, the lineup that we've had the last several, I think just a rundown of what we'll see on the left side, we'll see Anna Hertz and Torrance Tipton in the middle. We'll see Kerrigan Klott and Reese Munger on the right. We'll see Siri Bach, and then the back row pretty much stay the same with Andy Olson, Jordan Remmers, and Hensley Hogue, and then Ellie Thury will play back there as well. Some time back there. So I think that's what we'll see for the vast majority of tonight. That's been how it's been kind of rolling out.
the Watertown Arrows, and you mentioned Anna Hertz. Anna Hertz does lead the team in the offensive categories with 200 kills on the season. Torrance Tipton, kind of a new, I would say, piece to this varsity roster, moving her out to the left side. We did see her on the right side here, a couple of weeks ago, and then moving Kerrigan Klatt back to that middle. I know, she's one that wants to play that left, but right now, her skill set is best suited in that middle for the team.
Unfortunately, Kerrigan is an awesome blocker, and to her credit, that her in the middle, that she just does great when you line her up there in the middle. She can hit anything you can throw in the air. For the people at home tonight, just really watch the set. I mean, she hangs in the air. I have never seen a volleyball player that can jump like Kerrigan. She's a gymnast at heart, and it really shows because she just goes up and she can literally hit anything.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and we didn't see her timing was not on at that outside, and so I think moving her back has been one of the key pieces in now this latest run for the Arrows, and they are seated in the power points in that fourth spot coming into tonight. So I don't know how, I haven't looked at it, but it's very likely, and it's probably a foregone conclusion that they're going to host a Sodak 16.
And just looking, I looked right before we came on the air here, Cam, and they're looking at, they will either probably, by how the games are setting, they're either going to play Yankton here or they'll play Brookings, would be my guess. One of those two is kind of how it'll happen. The only oddball there is if Watertown goes down tomorrow night and were to beat the Goliath, I'll call them Harrisburg. If they were to beat them, that would change everything immensely.
Well, Harrisburg is going to be without Masselink tomorrow. Julia Masselink will be playing for the U.S. national team in Costa Rica, I believe, is where she's going to be. So she will not be with her high school team. She'll just be playing internationally.
Yeah, I mean, what a credit to that program, right?
Yeah, that's a fantastic program. As we bring in the Yankton Gazelles here this evening, they are in the 13th position in the power points. This could be, as you mentioned, Kirk, a preview of the Sodak 16. So both teams will do a little bit of feeling out. The Yankton Gazelles are extremely young. They start a series of freshmen and sophomores, and one of the things you're going to see out of them, no matter what the point spread is, the bench of Yankton is going to be in it, and they're going to be a positive group throughout. So that's a credit to that program of just Yankton volleyball is trying to build for the future, and you're seeing that with these youngsters here in this match. Well, Kirk, thanks for joining me here on the pregame show.
Absolutely. Thanks, Cam.
You betcha. Well, we're going to have a good one, and we'll be joined hopefully by Reese Munger in the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union post-game show. But I want to thank Kirk Ellis for joining us here in the Aero TV pregame show as he gives us a rundown of our past games and where the Arrows have been and just how they've been doing. We're going to turn it over to Mark Bellum. He is the public address announcer here in the Watertown Civic Arena for our national anthem and starting lineups.
Coaches and fans, we ask that you show respect for their efforts and recognize the vital role they play in providing opportunities for our student athletes. Without them, these contests would not be possible. At this time, we ask that you remain standing and join us in honoring America with the playing of our national anthem. Please show proper respect for the flag by removing your cap or hat. Stand at attention with your right hand over your heart. Veterans and active duty personnel not in uniform may salute the flag. Assistant coaches, Tiffany Bestie, Amanda Blaha, Nathan Ingalls. Head coach of the Gazelles, Taylor Stacy. And now, your Watertown Arrows. Number 3 is a senior outside hitter, Anna Hertz. Number 8 is a senior outside, Sari Bach. Number 10, a junior middle hitter, Reese Munger. Number 11 is a senior PS, Ellie Thurley. Number 12, the center and a senior, Kinsey Russell. And number 17, a junior right side, Kerrigan Clott. The libero is number 4 and a junior, Andy Olsen. Assistant coaches, Kelly Ketwig, Erica Paulson, Katie Strandy, Kelly McCarty. Head coach of the Arrows, Rosemary Bellum. And now let's kick, set, and kill.
And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. The Yankton Gazelles, coached by Taylor Stacy, record of 10 and 14 at number 13 in the PowerPoints. Joining the Watertown Arrows on the court, the Watertown Arrows 19 and 8 on the year, and at number 4 in the PowerPoints. They are coached by Rosemary Bellum. Lots of Watertown connections in this match. We'll get to that in just a bit. But as we talk about the starters for Yankton, they do start Tyann Bestie, a freshman, Ellie Drotzman, a sophomore, Nora Schramm, a freshman, Berkeley Olson, she's fun to watch, folks, she's a junior, Madison Gukaisen, a sophomore, and Jordan Kudera, a freshman. So a lot of youth, a very young team in the black and red here this evening, faced against the experienced Watertown Arrows, and they start with Reese Munger, Anna Hertz, Sari Bach, Andy Olson, Ellie Thurley, and there for the serve is Kinsey Russell. Kinsey Russell starts us off and serves that one out. First point goes to the Yankton Gazelles. That will send back Berkeley Olson, a 5'6" outside hitter. Stands only at 5'6", but she is one that the Arrows need to watch out for, as we see Reese Munger, the middle hitter for the Arrows, tips that one down for a point. 1-1 in set number 1. The Watertown Arrows generally start out very strong. They're averaging 23.5 points in set 1 of every match. So they do start out really strong. Nora Schramm with the kill for the Gazelles, where on the opposite side they have the Gazelles, and the Gazelles, they generally don't start out real strong or real quick, but if they can get into those 5 setters, they fight. And as we mentioned, that bench does have that positive energy. Bach with the swing, it is blocked in the middle, goes to the outside of Gukaisen. Gukaisen puts it down, dug out by Thurley. Thurley gives to Hertz, Hertz swings, and that paints the line. Anna Hertz gets her first kill of the evening. Anna Hertz does lead these Watertown Arrows in the kill category. That puts her at, I believe, 201 kills on the season. She'll float serve this over and out. So the Watertown Arrows now with 2 serve errors in the early going of set number 1. Ava Nelson, a junior. She will now become the setter. Russell goes to the right side where Bach swings. That sails off of Bach. Point to the Gazelles. Ava Nelson remains back at the service line. She does have 21 aces on the year. She serves that one over. And the down ref is calling an out of rotation violation. Not sure who she's pointing at, but generally it's the setter moved too quickly is usually what happens there. and that is a violation, point to the Gazelles. Thury's gonna swing from the outside, and down for the kill. So Ellie Thury playing the front row for the Gazelles. She hasn't been playing front row as of recently, and there we saw a nice attack from Ellie Thury, and Jordan Remmers comes into this match and gets the Arrows started in the ace category with an ace here this evening. Nelson will set this up, goes out to the outside swing. It is dug out by the Arrows. Tracked down by Remmers. Good hustle by Jordan Remmers. Russell's going to give a free ball over. Nelson goes to the outside. Swing by Bestie, picked up by Thury. Russell goes to Thury. Thury's going to hand push it. Back row attack. And they're going to say there was a touch by Klatt in the middle. Didn't think there was a touch. However, they did call that. Good long rally here, and won by the Watertown Arrows. Remmers remains at the service line. And Nelson just put that on a platter for Kerrigan Klatt. That's not going to work too well for the Gazelles when you've got Kerrigan Klatt, a high jumper for the Arrows in track, and just a phenomenal middle hitter. Just laid up and puts that down. We see the kill for the Gazelles. And the Gazelles have a service error. And that will send the libero for the Arrows. Andy Olson back to serve. Olson with the serve, dug out in the back. Nelson goes to the right side and puts it right down in the back corner. Ellie Drotzman, a 5'9" sophomore, gets the kill. That'll send the libero. The service line, and Munger back into the game. And Munger gets her second kill off of the block. And down on Yankton's side, that'll send Thury to the back row to serve. It is senior night here in the Watertown Civic Arena. The Watertown Arrows have 4 seniors on their squad this year. It is Ellie Thury. She is undecided on which college she wants to attend, but does or is intending to major in social work. Hurts, big swing, just out. She tried to go line, the opening was there, just goes wide left. Hurt's gonna get another opportunity, takes some off of it and puts that down right in front of the back row player of Yankton. That was Bestie that landed right in front of her. Point to the Watertown Arrows and Hurts. She's got her 3rd kill on the evening. Nora Schramm just hits that one left, wide left for an error. Kinsey Russell back at the service line. Watertown up 10-9 in set number 1. This is a matchup between number 13 in the Power Points Yankton versus number 4, the Watertown Arrows. Good dig in the back row by Bestie. Russell goes to work. And Reese Munger blocked in the middle. by the freshman of Nora Schramm. Again, this Yankton Gazelle team is loaded with freshmen and sophomores there. Nora Schramm at 5'8" blocks the junior from Watertown, and there we see an error by Berkeley Olson on the serve. Reese Munger, she is one of the block leaders for the Watertown Arrows. Back to serve. And that's an overpass. Kerrigan was able to be dug right there. She went after it, and a back row attack by Berkeley Olson, and Kinsey Russell just unable to get the dig up. So kill to Berkeley Olson. Berkeley Olson stands at just 5'6", but really knows how to jump, and she is an outside hitter that, again, she's fun to watch. And there we see the opposite side, and goes down and puts it down for the kill is Drotzman, but the Gazelles were in the net. Net violation. Drotzman trying to do her best Kerrigan Klatt personation. That will send Hertz back to serve. And there's a big hit by the left-hander of Gukaisen. Madison Gukaisen, a 6-foot sophomore. She's a lefty on that opposite side, puts that down for the kill. This is all tied up at 12 points apiece.
Elena Nelson serving.
Nelson back to serve. Point. Arrows. Ellie Thury gets up in the air and terminates. Jordan Remmers back to serve. Where's number 2 for the Watertown Arrows? She's got 18 aces on the year. You could see that Kerrigan Klatt wanted to go after that. A quick tempo, so a 1 tempo was set by Russell there in the middle to Klatt. Klatt just missed that timing. Timing just a little bit off, and in that type of play, timing is essential. Tight pass, one-handed set. Klatt handles it and puts it down. So good athletic play by Kinsey Russell on the one-handed set to Klatt. Klatt now with 2 kills, and we see the Arrows appear to be out of rotation, but Coach Bellum saw it and then asked for a rotation check from the down ref. So there is no point that will be exchanged or given to Yankton, because Coach Bellum recognized that they were out of rotation, and before the ball went back into play, she asked the down ref to do a rotation check, and the down ref then puts them back into rotation. So good heads up observation by Coach Bellum. Nelson with the set, goes to the outside to Berkeley Olson. Berkeley Olson is blocked by Munger and Russell. Andy Olson leads the team in digs. Slide attack, right down the line. Reese Munger with the slide and the kill. One of the most effective plays in women's volleyball is that play right there. And the Watertown Arrows executed that very well, as we see a middle attack rejected by Munger. Gonna go to the right side, and that would look really tight. Ellie Thury off of the outstretched hands. We call that a kind of tooling the block a little bit off of the high hands of the Gazelles, and Watertown stretches their lead out to 4. This is set number 1. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. Timeout by the Gazelles, and right out of the timeout, Andy Olson back to serve and does miss her serve. That will send Jordan Kudera back to serve for Yankton. She is a freshman as well. Serves that over, Hertz with the pass. Russell now with the back set. Good swing by Thury. Olson out of system set, gives that to Thury. Thury puts it over, it's dug out. Goes to the outside, Berkeley Olson swings. And you can see Yankton asking for a touch. No touch called. Point Arrows. Arrows widen or remain their lead up to 4. 18-14 in set number 1. Thury has 21 aces on the year from that service stripe. Reese Munger adjusts well. They're going to call a lift on the Gazelles. You could see they scrambled after that, but that was a good call. You see it just rested long enough on her hand, which is a violation. Thury back. Back row attack. Thury lays out. We're going to give a free ball to the Gazelles. Nelson to the middle, and big kill by Nora Schramm, the freshman.
Serving number 16, Brenna Elwood.
Elwood back to serve for Gazelles. She is a freshman setter. She will do the setting now for the Gazelles. Elwood goes to her right side and just pushed it a little too far past the pin, not allowing Gukaisen to put a swing on that. Russell back to serve. Neither team right now keeping in system. Again, the Arrows will free ball this. The area the Arrows will look to clean up as Gukaisen hits that over, and Russell on the dig. It was an overpass on the dig, and Yankton not ready for the lazy overpass and down for a point. Russell remains at the service line. The Arrows up 21-15. Elwood with the set and the kill.
Kill for Nora Schramm.
Nora Schramm
Berkeley Olson back to serve for
gets her second kill on the evening. Actually, third kill on the evening. So we're seeing the Watertown Arrows here on senior night. All the seniors on the court at the same time right now. We see Hertz and Bach and Russell and Ellie Thury all on the court. A nice gesture by Coach Bellum here on senior night. And there we see Hertz puts it down for the kill. And this is something I talked about, the Yankton bench and their energy generally, but haven't seen it here tonight at all. You know, one of the things in talking to Coach Stacy ahead of the game is she likes coming back to the Watertown Civic Arena. Obviously, she played her high school volleyball here, and you know, she's comfortable here, but this is a big area for a team to play, and you know, it gets a little quiet. You have to find your own energy. Now the Gazelles have traditionally not started off strong, so we'll see what happens here in set number 2. The Arrows generally are, you know, fast starters, and they are up 24-16 here in set number 1. As we see Tyann Bestie gets blocked by Siri Bach. And the Arrows win set number 1, 25-16. We'll take a timeout and we'll be back. It's senior night here in the Watertown Civic Arena. And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. The Watertown Arrows here on senior night have taken set number 1 from the Yankton Gazelles, 25-16. I mentioned some interesting storylines here in this match. On the bench, one of the assistant coaches for Yankton is Tiffany Bestie. Tiffany Bestie was the head coach for the Watertown Arrows. And, you know, you can call a little mentor-mentee. She was the head coach, and Rosemary Bellum was an assistant coach under Tiffany Bestie when Tiffany Bestie coached here for the Watertown Arrows. And after Coach Bestie, then it was Kim Rohde, and then Coach Bellum took the helm, and she's been at the helm for the last, I believe, 8 years here at in Watertown. As we see, Yankton gets on the board first with their setter in Brenna Elwood. And they're going to be up 2-0. And now, you know, you look at full circles. So you have Coach Bellum over here coaching. You have, you know, Coach Bestie on the bench. And then Taylor Stacy, and of course her maiden name was Taylor Corey. She played for Coach Bellum. And there we see Berkeley Olson just unable to get that over the net, but played for Coach Bellum, and now she's the head coach in her 3rd season there in Yankton, and Tiffany Bestie is an assistant serving under Taylor Corey, or Taylor Stacy. So, you know, mentor, mentee, it is just a full circle of coaching going back, you know, a long time, a decade, 2 decades or so. I'm sure both you know, Coach Bellum and Coach Bestie aren't overly happy that I'm saying decades, but you know, it's a fun storyline. But that's not it. There's more to come as we see Siri Bach with the kill. That will send Anna Hertz back to the service line. Anna Hertz, the daughter of Coach Bellum. Russell goes to Bach. Bach is dug up in the back row. Back row, down ball, and off of Russell and down for the kill. You know, as we also look at the bench for the Yankton Gazelles, and we see Nathan Ingalls. He is an assistant for Coach Stacy. He is also a Watertown High School graduate, and his mother is a music teacher in the Watertown School District, as we see a service error there for the Gazelles. You would think that'd be all of the Watertown connections, but hey, I got more. As we see Reese Munger with the service. Olson now with an out of system. Pass set, free ball over to the Arrows. Gonna go to the middle hitter of Klatt, and that is just a thing of beauty. When you can set Klatt up, she is going to be able to hit the ball and hit it with ease. Just a fluid stroke for Kerrigan Klatt. Gukaisen with the kill. As we talk and continue to really bring that Watertown connection here in the gym, and we talk about Tiffany Bestie. Tiffany Bestie's father-in-law is Doug Bestie. Doug Bestie, a former math teacher here at the Watertown High School. And of course, his granddaughter is number 8 for Yankton, Tyann Bestie. (6-4) Yankton up in set number 2. And the Arrows are going to be called out of rotation, so definitely been a concern here for the Arrows.
Rotation violation against the Arrows.
Russell's going to go to 30. 30 swings, and that is long. Point to the Gazelles. Gazelles up 8-4. And I bet you all thought that I was done with the Watertown connections, but no, when we talk about the Besties, we have to talk about Ryan Zink. Ryan Zink, his wife, Erica. Obviously, his dad is Doug, and Ryan Zink, the brother-in-law to Tiffany Bestie, is the head tennis coach for the Watertown Arrows and a teacher in the Watertown School District. As we talk about the Besties, this is Tyann Bestie wearing number 8 for the Gazelles, back to serve. Big swing for Thury. Boom goes the dynamite for Ellie Thury. Brings the Arrows within 3. That will send Thury back to serve for the Arrows. Thury with the ace. That is Thury's 22nd ace on the year. Ellie Thury with 115 kills, 20 blocks, 182 digs, and now 22 aces on the year. And are you ready for some more of this Watertown area or connection trivia? The coach for the Yankton Gazelles is Taylor Corey. We mentioned that she played volleyball here for Watertown, graduated from Watertown. Actually, one of the best and top liberos to come out of the Watertown High School, still in the record books here for the Arrows in digs and aces. You know, when we used to watch her, she, along with one of her teammates, Mariah Glow, it was a two-person receive. You just don't see that in AA volleyball. And she was one that was just fun to watch in that back row in that two-person receive. Taylor married a high school sweetheart in Logan Stacy. Logan Stacy, another high school graduate, and he is the son of former Watertown High School Superintendent Daryl Stacy and longtime band director Jackie Stacy, who I know is watching here tonight. So good evening to Daryl and Jackie, now living down in Sioux Falls. As we see a attack by Hertz. Going to the middle for Yankton, and down for a kill is Nora Schramm. So Nora Schramm having a nice game out of the middle for the Gazelles. Russell's able to get that out of the net, out of that tight set. She's going to go to the outside where Hertz is. Hertz is blocked. The Gazelles are able to pick that up. Back row attack. Now Russell going to go to a quick slide to Klatt, and Klatt puts that down for the kill. That just is an upper level play, and the technique, it looks a lot easier than that is. That is a quick type of slide. The tempo is quicker, and the approach for the hitter has to be just, there's not a lot of room for error right there, because there was not a lot of room between the setter and that pin or the antenna. So I just can't overstate the just excellence of that attack. We see, thought that was Gukaisen, but that's actually Drotzman, or Gutzman, excuse me, number 6, Gracie Gutzman, a senior. She is the lone senior on this Yankton Gazelle squad. She stands at 5'11" and gets the kill there. Yankton up 14-10 in set number 2. Coach Bellum is going to talk about it. She calls timeout. We'll be back. And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. Russell goes to Munger on the slide attack, and that has been very positive for the Arrows here this evening. In fact, I think maybe they have misfired on one of those attacks here this evening. Otherwise, it's been very effective. Elwood goes the outside, dug up by 30. Russell. Elwood gets the dig, now put over by the Gazelles. Siri Bach is blocked. Big swing by Bach, but Nora Schramm on the other end. Nora Schramm, again, just a 5'8" freshman, playing really well in that middle hitter position here this evening. Bach goes over the blocker and down for the kill. That is Siri Bach's second kill on the evening. Sending Hensley Hogue, the serving specialist, back to serve. Kill for Siri Bach. Watertown gaining ground on Yankton here in set number 2. They do lead this 1-0. Overpass, and Gukaisen is waiting for it and just tips that right down to the floor. Portman in with the serve, now to Gukaisen. Gukaisen swings, dug up by Russell. Tipton, she's been real quiet here tonight. She swings, it is dug up. And there, big kill on the outside by Tyann Bestie. Sends Wortman back. Serve again, Tipton with the pass. She's gonna get it right back, and that is down for the kill. Bobby Joe Superior initially called it out, but then comes back down. That was a close attack, but down for the kill was the attack of Tipton's. Reese Munger will get the ace. Reese Munger with her 19th ace on the year. Elwood goes to Gukaisen. Gukaisen can't do much with that. Bach saw the court and was looking to go right into that 4 zone, right over the net, and just missed it. Siri Bach going to Northwestern to continue her volleyball career. Plans on studying kinesiology. That was just out for the Gazelles point arrows as we see Jordan Remmers come back into this match. Tipton into the seats. She does get it out of there. Now she's got to hustle back. She gets back in time. Good hustle play by Torrance Tipton, and that is out. So fantastic play by Torrance Tipton, and then the follow. There was a touch called before it went out. Point to the Yankton Gazelles. But got to give a lot of credit to Torrance Tipton there on that hustle play. She comes back, says, that's all right, I'll get the next one. And she puts that one down for the kill. Ertz and Thury back in for the Arrows, both seniors. Good dig by Andy Olson. Read that well, laid out, got it. Miscommunication between the setter and the libero for the Gazelles. Olsen swings. It is dug up by Olsen, and that was set up entirely by Andy Olsen. Andy Olsen had the dig that put them in system. It allowed Kinsey Russell to set up a slide attack off of a big attack of the Gazelles, but that was simply just an amazing defensive move and pass by Andy Olsen. And it looks like they were calling maybe 17 in the net, I think, and that's Kerrigan Klatt. That point will go to Yankton. Yankton leads by 2. Goes the outside where Hertz is at, and Hertz puts it down to the floor. One of Anna Hertz's favorite memories, beating Washington and the bus rides home. This match now, or this set, excuse me, is all knotted up at 20 points apiece. The Gazelles have really led since the very first point, but the Arrows have fought back, and now this set is tied up 20 points apiece. We'll be back. And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. We are in set number 2, and we have the Watertown Arrows up 1-0, but this set here is tied 20-20. While we're waiting here, I think for our very last Watertown connection, as number 15's mother, Berkeley Olsen, is Heather Olsen. She is a former teacher here in the Watertown School District. And I did see her in attendance here in the Watertown Civic Arena, as I believe right on cue was Berkeley Olsen getting the kill right there. This will bring in Elwood. Elwood is the setter for Yankton in this rotation. Yankton runs a 6-2. Elwood's going to give it to Olsen. Olsen swings. The other Olsen, wearing purple, digs that one out, and Hertz is blocked. Down for a point. Another block for Nora Schramm. Russell goes the outside, and that is down for a point.
Kinsey Russell serving for the Arrows.
Kinsey Russell back to serve for the Arrows. Overpass. And Hertz is there to tap that right down to the floor. Once again, set number 2 all tied up at 22 apiece. Kinsey Russell remains at the service line. Serves up good serve. Track down and ace. Coach Stacy's going to call a timeout. She's going to talk about it with the Watertown Arrows taking their first lead of this second set. We'll take it as well. We'll be back. We're back for the conclusion of set number 2. Watertown taking their first lead in this set, 23-22. Good timeout for the Gazelles. That will send Berkeley Olson back to serve. Have to win by 2. Olson with the ace. And now you see the Watertown Arrows take a timeout. Coach Bellum's going to talk about it as the Yankton Gazelles now up 24-23. You know, while I've got a moment here on senior night, I want to give a shout out to the Watertown Arrow manager, Ava Lee. Ava Lee has been around volleyball since as long as I can remember, and she has just been a dedicated member, both, you know, in her playing days and now as a manager. So we appreciate her and her work with the Watertown volleyball team, the Arrow volleyball team. Her favorite memory is state volleyball her sophomore year in Rapid City. Her future plans are to go to NDSU and major in biology pre-med with a minor in neuroscience. Siri Bach is blocked. The Yankton Gazelles are going to take set number 2, 25-23. We talked about this in the pregame show, that the Watertown Arrows, they generally start out strong, and we saw that in set number 1. We also talked about how the Yankton Gazelles, as the match gets longer, they play better. They become more steady, and we see them taking set number 2. We'll be back for set number 3 in just a moment.
Hey, did you guys hear about the event coming up? Yeah, isn't it Tuesday, November 18th at 6:30 at the Watertown High School?
No, I haven't heard about it. What is that?
I think it's about a film called My Ascension. Yeah, it's...
And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. As we see, Hertz is blocked by Gukaisen of Yankton. Gukaisen, a 6-foot sophomore right side lefty out there. She has got the ability to put the ball down and terminate at a high efficiency. As we see Bach underhand tip, dug out by the Gazelles. Bestie takes some off of it and down for the kill.
Kill for Tyan Bestie.
Yankton up 2-0. That is Bestie's first kill on the night. She is an outside hitter, and she is is one of the attack leaders for boom. I just got, that was a work of art there by Siri Bach. Siri Bach found the connection.
Hensley Hogue serving.
That will send Hensley Hogue to the service line. Elwood to the middle hitter. Pass over. Bestie swings and off of Tipton. As we mentioned, now Bestie with 2 kills on the day. Wortman into serve for the Gazelles. Tipton swings, miss, hits that for an attack error. Yankton up 4-1. This match is all knotted up, 1 set apiece. Four touches for the Arrows, point to the Gazelles. Wortman remains at the service line. Passes up by Olson, now to Tipton. Tipton puts that down inside the back line for a kill.
Reese Munger back to serve.
That is Tipton's 3rd kill on the evening. Munger back to serve. Elwood gives that to Gukaisen. Gukaisen, that just sailed on her. Goes out the back line for an attack error. Point to the Arrows. 5-3 in set number 3. This match all knotted up, 1 set apiece. And there, saw both Gukaisen and Olson just kind of watch it go up. Neither one of them track that ball down. That would be a frustrating point as you have that happen. Boom for Tipton. So Torrance Tipton now getting the engine revving on that outside. Service error by Munger. Point goes to the Yankton Gazelles.
Elena Nelson now serving for the Gazelles.
Nelson comes in and gets the ace for the Gazelles.
Ace.
Nelson now will be the setter for Yankton as Elwood checks out. Two different offenses run by these two teams. The Arrows run a 5-1 type of offense. Yankton running a 6-2. Kill for Bach.
With the kill. Jordan Remmers serving for the Arrows.
That is Bach's 4th kill on the evening. She also has 1 block on the night. Jordan Remmers back to serve. Klatt. That was like a clean net. Gracie Gutzman was there, just not up in the air. And when Kerrigan Klatt gets a clean net, you don't want to be in the back row because it is coming quickly, probably right around that 50 miles an hour. And then we see Tipton again. She pounds it home. Torrance Tipton finding the connection with her setter of Russell. Watertown takes their first lead of set number 3. Now you're feeling the momentum. The Watertown Arrows feeling it as you see Klatt and Russell combined on the block party, and they get the point. Miss hit for Gutzman, and Coach Stacy's going to call a timeout as you see all the momentum go over to the Watertown Arrows, and the miscues start piling up for the Gazelles. Timeout. We'll take it as well. Arrows up in set number 3, 10-7. And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. Got to give our crew a big shout out as we saw that replay of that attack on the sideline there. We could see it was definitely out. Good call by the line judge. Here this evening, we've got Ryder Shell. He's on a camera for Aero TV. Kira Thu, right next to me up here in the rafters. And Kyle Gall, class of 2008, right next to me as well, running a camera. Bailey Bolton, also on a camera. And in our booth is Austin Thompson and Ryan Remmers for our Aero TV crew here this evening as we see the slide attack. And once again, hard for the Gazelles to defend. They just about had it over, but Torrance Tipton stayed home and tipped it home. Watertown up 11-7 in set number 3. Tipton swings again and gets another kill. Torrance Tipton. And that is a lift on the Arrows, point to the Gazelles. That'll send Bestie back to serve. Good hustle by the Arrows. Just unable to get that in between the two antennas. It goes on the outside of the antenna and over the net. That is out. Bestie remains at the service line. The right-hander. Good pass up, goes to that slide attack. It is this time blocked by the Gazelles. And over to Tipton. Tipton with a miss hit. Point to Yankton. Outside to Tipton. Tipton swings. Got behind that ball. Didn't get on top of it. Kind of shot putted it into the net. See a block by Ellie Drotzman. And then Drotzman, they go right back to her and down for the kill. Watertown Arrows now down 13-12. The Arrows looking for a good pass, get into system. We've got two big hitters at the front line. Now to Tipton. Tipton swings. It is dug out by Yankton. Berkeley Olson, dug by Olson on the other side, and there you have Kerrigan Clack. Puts that right down at the 10-foot line between zone 4 and 5. Ellie Thury back to serve. Blocked by the Arrows. Russell's going to go to Hertz. Hertz puts it in the line. Bestie digs that back out. Tight set. Point Arrows. Thury. Good serve by Ellie Thury. Berkeley Olson is able to pass that, but free ball over to the Arrows. Now to Klatt. Klatt mishits that. But Hertz doesn't, and Hertz goes to that back line. And again, that is an opening in the Gazelle defense, is that back corner. They're going to say no touch, so it hits the top of the tape for an arrow point. Thury remains at the service line. Out of system to Hertz. Hertz swings. Kill for Anna Hertz on the cut shot. So Sharp cross court and gets the point. Timeout, Yankton. Watertown up 17-13 in set number 3. This match is all knotted up 1 point apiece. So quick timeout, quick talk by the Gazelles. Thury remains at the service line. The Arrows up 17-13 in set number 3. Middle attack, dug up by the Arrows. Hertz swings and a long.
Serving Jordan Cunera.
Boom goes the dynamite for Kerrigan Clatt. That is phenomenal. She puts that down to the floor for the kill, just pounding it home. The Gazelles are gonna have to challenge those attacks of Klatt if they hope to have any time attack by the Gazelles inside the line. Line judge did call it out, but overruled by the up official. Munger is blocked by the Gazelles. Point, Yankton. Anna Hertz with the kill.
Back to serve for Watertown, Kinsey Russell.
Kinsey Russell going to South Dakota State University next year. Point to the Gazelles. Going to study veterinary science there at SDSU. That serve sails out for an arrow point. We'll see Hensley Hogue and Torrance Tipton back into this match. Torrance Tipton in the last rotation was really just taken over. She has 6 kills on the evening. Does have 3 attack errors. As we see Gukaisen hits that one into the net for an attack error. The arrows are led at the net by Klatt, or in the kill category by Kerrigan Klatt and Anna Hertz with 9 apiece. Kill from the middle hitter of Schramm. Schramm leads the attack for the Gazelles with 5. But it's been really balanced. Berkeley Olson with 4, Madison Gukaisen with 4, Ellie Drotzman with 4. Swing and out. You can see Yankton looking for a touch. Not gonna get it. Point to the arrow sends Munger back to serve. Munger wearing the high, looking like, trying to look like a Cornhusker tonight with the high socks. That's kind of a trademark of the Cornhuskers. I asked somebody one time, I said, why do they wear, you know, their socks when it's just about swag? It doesn't have a, you know, it doesn't help them at all. It's just swag. Point to the Watertown Arrows, 22-19 here in set number 3. Service error by the Gazelles. Watertown now up 23-19. They will send Jordan Remmers to the service line. Jordan Remmers, 166 digs on the year with 18 aces. And Tipton in Tipton fashion for this set. She puts the arrows at the service line with Remmers with set point, 24-19. Serves up. Middle attack, and Kerrigan Klatt right there and puts that down for the block. 25-19, Watertown Arrows take set number 3. We'll be back for set number 4 in just a moment. And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. You're watching Aero TV, the best in high school sports coverage, brought to you entirely by Watertown High School students and community members. I am Cam Corey, your host for tonight's action between the Yankton Gazelles and the Watertown Arrows. And we have seen what really the difference is between these two clubs. The youthfulness of the Yankton Gazelles. At times you can see their inexperience come through, and then the Watertown Arrows, just the power that the Arrows have. I mean, they come into tonight with that as a team, 890 kills on the year, 157 blocks, 191 aces, and 1,300 digs. And contrast that with Yankton. Yankton, 541 kills, 78 blocks, 106 aces, and 890 digs. You know, those categories really show the difference between the experience, you know, the upperclassmen of the Arrows and the youthfulness of the, you know, the Gazelles. Now, the Gazelles, they have a bright future. If you look, they are young. They have taken a set from the 4-seeded Arrows here tonight in this set, or in this match. And of course, this match isn't over either by any stretch. So, you know, but you're seeing the differences between, you know, a top 5 team maybe in the state in the Arrows and what the Gazelles are trying to get to. And you could see it. They've got, you know, some really good hitters, and we've seen them hitting the floor for the Gazelles as well. But the Arrows are just, you know, more polished, more experience, and just have that power in the front court, as we see Siri Bach getting a point off of that big attack right there. And for the Gazelle fans, we did change the logo from the Buck to the Gazelles for you. You see the big swing and dig out by Thury. Swing by Hertz. Going to be an out-of-system attack. Hertz is going to get another opportunity. Dig up in the back row. Good dig by Kudera. Kudera, the libero, wearing the solid red. Russell remains at the service line. Arrows up, take a big 3-0 lead. Siri Bach with the kill. And we're just seeing now that the strength of the Arrows have really taken over that net from the, you know, dropping set number 2. Little, you know, maybe a little debate going on behind me in mascots. You know, the Gazelles have the Bucks and the Gazelles, and then they're talking about, hey, you have the Govs and the Lady Govs, and can't we have just one mascot? That's what they're talking about behind me here this evening, after we talked about the difference. And, you know, I heard the argument that says, hey, we've had now a female governor, so can't we just be the governors? Well, I guess fair point, fair point. We see Hensley Hogue coming back into this match. You know, very well said again. The Arrows, there's one Arrows, you know. And that is out, point 2, the Watertown Arrows 6-1. Elwood, good swing by Bestie on that outside, just going off of the blocker of the Arrows and down to the floor for the kill. Arrows still up with a 4-point lead here in set number 4. Allie Wortman at the service line, tipped in with the swing. She's dug out in the back row. Long run for the setter, and then you see Wortman. She, you know, hit that really at ear level or nose level, not a lot of chance of that ball going over. You need to get underneath it or hit it at its peak, or in that case, just free ball it over if you're not going to be able to down ball it. And that's one of those errors in experience. Tipton with the swing. Point to the Gazelles off the right arm of Bestie. And you're seeing right now Kinsey Russell really playing a smart game. She knows that her hitter that is on fire is Tipton, and she's feeding her. She's going to her, recognizing that that is a mismatch right now in this match. As we see an ace for the Gazelles. And the arrows are in the net, point to the Gazelles. So the arrows were out to a pretty good lead. Now the Gazelles have cut their lead down to 2. Nelson, the setter, at the service line. And that is down for an ace. Paints the line. And now you see some of that energy coming out for the Yankton bench. Kind of doing the worm. We've seen the worm on the arrow side too by Callie Ellis in the past. Ellis, one of those. We see the good hit by Klatt there with the kill. But Ellis, one of those players on the bench that has had some varsity time this year. She's tall, she's strong. You know, one of those depth players for the Arrows. Definitely one that the Arrows are going to be looking at and needing in the future. Klatt now taking over this match from that middle position. Tipton in the back corner. That has been open nearly all night, right there in that back corner. That is an opening in the perimeter defense that the Gazelles run. Tipton swings, dug up by the libero. Both liberos trading digs. Nelson with an errant set, just set that right on top of the net. Arrows up 11-6. Again, this is a potential, you know, I would say future match maybe. If the Sodak 16 were to happen tonight, it would be a rematch between the Yankton Gazelles, who are currently in that 13th seed in the power points, and then the Watertown Arrows in that 4th seed for power points. So the Gazelles would travel back up here to Watertown if it were to happen today. The Watertown Arrows do travel down to Harrisburg for their final match. Harrisburg undefeated in South Dakota volleyball action. They are going to be without one of their top players, who is playing, I think, in Costa Rica on the international team. But Harrisburg's still going to have plenty of firepower there on their team. And Yankton, they are right back at it tomorrow when Brookings goes down to Yankton and travels down there and faces off. Now, depending upon what happens in that match tomorrow, that could tell whether the Arrows face off against Brookings or Yankton. If Brookings or Yankton defeats Brookings tomorrow, that might change the matchup between the Sodak 16 and, you know, who would the Arrows rather face, Brookings or Yankton? You know, probably Yankton, simply because it's a further drive. It does take, I mean, you're on a bus for over, you know, 3 hours, and you come up and play a volleyball match. It's tough to sit on a bus for 3 hours, get up, get ready, and play that match. I mean, there's just something about the travel. Brookings, of course, just 45 miles away, so, you know, both of them rival games. ESD teams. We're going to see an illegal back row attack, and what that means is the back row player was above the net and attacked it, and that's what we saw right there. Overpass, tipped in, goes after the Gazelles, looking for a touch, and they're going to get this call. Kyle Gall sitting to my left. He says, give it to us. He didn't like that call. He's over here saying no. He disagrees with the officials on that one. Russell to Tipton. Tipton, good swing. Dug out in the back row by Bestie. Just not enough air underneath it for a fellow Gazelle to get underneath that and do anything with it. Straight into the net and down for a kill.
Senior Ellie Thury serving.
And in this set, we have seen the Arrows exert their will over the Gazelles. Kill in the middle by Gracie Gutzman, the 5'11" senior.
Jordan Kudra serving.
The libero, Jordan Kudra, she is a freshman. Big kill for Kerrigan Clack.
Clack with the kill. Serving for the Arrows, junior libero, Andy Olson.
Nice spot by Berkeley Olson.
Berkeley Olson picks up the kill.
Brenna Elwood back in for the Gazelles. She has 237 assists on the year. Does lead the two setters just by 10 coming in, so very evenly assists statistics for the setters as we see Hertz, big swing. Russell back to Hertz. Hertz is going to take some off. Unable to get that across. Now she sees the corner and pushes that long. Stay with us on the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union DFS Insurance post-game show. We'll be joined up here in the Aero TV booth by Reese Munger. Reese there on the attack on the slide and into the net, so timing just not right between Munger and Russell on that attempt. That has been very effective for the Arrows here this evening. Kill for Kinsey Russell. And why wasn't that a back row attack? Like we saw that for the Gazelles just a moment ago in the offense for the Arrows. They have their setter in the front row. That takes out an additional hitter, but does allow your setter to, you know, attack or tip in that second ball, which she did there. Reese Munger. 20-11. The Arrows, they are not playing in this set number 4. Watertown Arrows have won 2 state titles in 1997 and 2019. Watertown Arrows have also made 15 state tournament appearances. They did make state last year. They ended up, I think, well, they took 6th place and went to a 5-set match last year to Sioux Falls Roosevelt, dropping that. Yankton, on the other hand, they have won 1 state championship in 2005. They have made 9 state tournament appearances. Their most recent appearance, however, was in 2007, so long drought for the Gazelles in making it to the state AA tournament. As we see an outside attack by Anna Hertz. Arrows up 21-11 in set number 4. The Arrows looking to defeat the Gazelles here this evening. 3-1. Good rally between these two teams here. Elwood, pass set to the outside, dug up by Russell. Andy Olson goes and gets that. Push attack, now to Olson. Olson is blocked by Bach and Munger, and down for the kill. And that is a challenge for the undersized Berkeley Olson. While she's only 5'6", she can jump. But when you've got 5'11", 6 foot, and Reese Munger, another high jumper over there, your set needs to be at a quick tempo, a 1 tempo, a 0 tempo, and not allow your blockers to get set up. When they can get set up, it's going to be really tough go, as we saw right there with Berkeley Olson in that attack. Bestie gets the kill. The other thing you could do for Yankton is isolate, and your setter needs to do this by moving your pins, getting your middle working, which pushes your pins out, and try to get one-on-one matchups with your hitters and your blockers. And then your hitters just need to win that. And you can see the Arrows asking for a touch there, and they did get it. Point to the Arrows. Arrows up 23-13 in set number 4. Hensley Ho got that service line. She'll serve.
Match point.
Go to Tipton, see if she can finish it. It is dug out in the back row by Jordan. Left hand, or outside or left side attack by Bestie. Tyann Bestie gets the kill. Tyann Bestie now with 6 kills on the evening. Brings in Wortman. Olson 2. Siri Bach, and Siri Bach smashes it. That is the way to finish a match right there. Wow, that is, let's see that again. She gets up and down, and you can see how she got her core involved, rotated that, swaying through, and that is one that is, watch out, ladies and gentlemen, when that is coming at you. If you're not going to get a block up on that, that is going to find the floor 10 out of 10 times in high school volleyball. So the Watertown Arrows defeat the Yankton Gazelles 25-14 in this set. They do win 3 sets to 1. Stay with us. We are live on the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union post-game show. We're going to be joined by junior Reese Munger, who will be joining us on the post-game show. Set number 1 here this evening went to the Watertown Arrows. They took set number 1, 25-16. Set number 2 went the way of the Gazelles, 23-25. Set number 3 went to the Arrows, 25-19. And set number 4 went to the Arrows, 25-14. So the 4-seeded Watertown Arrows, who have won, I want to say they won 8 of 9 maybe coming in here to into this match. They are playing some really good volleyball here as of late, and they will stay in that 4th seed. The Yankton Gazelles, their record does drop to 10-15, and they are in that 13th spot of the power points. As we look at our unofficial stats here in the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union post-game show, Elena Nelson leads the Gazelles with 3 aces. Berkeley Olson joins in with 1. In the assist category, Elena Nelson has 12 assists. Brenna Elwood, 14. So pretty balanced in that assist category. In the kills, very balanced. 6 different players, and that is the benefit of playing the 6-2. All 6 of the attackers for Yankton are on the board. Gracie Gutzman with 4 kills. Tyann Bestie, 6. Ellie Drotzman with 4. Madison Gukeisen with 4. Nora Schramm with 6. And Berkeley Olson with 5. Nora Schramm, she had a really nice game for Yankton. She also had 4 blocks leading the Gazelles. Madison Gukeisen with 3 and Gracie Gutzman with 2. In the dig category, Tyann Bestie leads all Gazelles with 14 digs on the evening. Jordan Kudera has 8. Brenna Elwood with 7, and Berkeley Olson with 6. As we look at the victors here tonight, the Watertown Arrows, they were led by the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union Player of the Game, and that is going to go to, yeah, I think we got to give this to, boy, there is just so many. And maybe we're going to give this to Torrance Tipton here this evening. She has got 10 kills and 2 blocks. So congratulations to Torrance Tipton, our Dakota Land Federal Credit Union Player of the Game. In the kill category, Tipton had 10, Kerrigan Klatt had 12, and Anna Hertz had 10 kills as well. Rounding out the kills for the Watertown Arrows, Siri Bach with 8, Reese Munger with 5, Ellie Thury with 4, Kinsey Russell with 2.
Man, that's a lot of Siris.
In the assist category, Kinsey Russell with 44 assists here in this match, so really well played game. And we are joined in the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union post-game show with junior Reese Munger.
Hey.
So, Reese, is this your first trip up to the Aero TV booth?
No, I did it last year.
You were up here last year?
Yep.
So you're an old hat. You're a pro up here.
Yeah. Yep.
You got it? You're a veteran?
Yeah.
All right,
Ready.
very good. Well, hey, coming into this game, some people may say that this is a, you guys are obviously favored in this game. Maybe have you looked ahead at maybe some post-game matchups?
Yeah, we're just ready for whatever. I know we've kind of been moving around. I think right now we're Brookings maybe was where we were. But, I mean, after this, we'll see other teams have to play, so.
Yeah, and I think, as I look around at Brookings and Yankton are potential matchups. Tomorrow, Brookings, I think, travels to Yankton, so that could change some things up as well. Well, tell me about this game. So in the first set, you guys jumped out, had a really good first set.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe a little letdown in set number 2.
Yeah.
What happened in that set, and what did Coach Bellum have to say to you after that set?
Set 2 is definitely a lot of our errors. I think we put a few in the net and just a lot of stuff that we gave them. I think there was about 12 points that we gave them. So definitely minimizing our errors was something that she really pointed out in the huddle. And then just playing harder, we definitely were goofing around a little bit, and which we always do. But, yeah, energy and things like that.
Yeah, and Coach Bellum's really about you need to take care of your own side of the ball, right?
Definitely, yeah.
And that was probably what you said. I could have probably known she was going to talk about errors in there. But as you went into set number 3 and then really set number 4, you guys really took momentum and controlled the net. What do you guys do to get up? Your front row is amazing. You guys are really hitting the ball well and seeing the open shots. So how do you guys as front row, are you guys talking, seeing the openings?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Back row's a part of that too, telling us where to hit it left and right. And like the front row even communicates with each other when we're covering to hit right, left, over the block, tipping and things like that. So we definitely all help each other out, I think, which helps with the kills.
Yeah, so how does that work? Are they setting it up in between sets? Is that when they're talking to you, or they talk to you after every point, coming up and saying, hey, this is what I'm seeing?
After the ball is set, they're like yelling like, right.
Okay,
left,
so they're saying when, hey, Kinsey's going up and they're communicating with you.
And even after plays, the back row will come up and tell us what they think's open. So
yeah. Excellent. Well, tonight, how about that exclamation point at the end right there?
Yes.
How about that? Siri just got on top of that. That was fun. That's the way to finish a match.
Definitely.
So, how has this season been for you? Been, fun? You've kind of had some ups and downs as far as a team. What's the goal going into Harrisburg this week?
Definitely to play as hard as we can. I mean, she did just talk about in the locker room that we have nothing to lose tomorrow, so really just playing as hard as we can and just working as a team. And that's also probably what's brought us so much success, is that this year just all the girls, we are all such good friends, and the energy and, yes, just the bonds that we have with each other. Awesome.
Well, a lot of fun. You guys really seem to get into a rhythm offensively. And, for you personally, you started off in set number 1 really having a really good offensive game. You're super strong defensively, but what helps you get into rhythm at the net offensively?
Definitely passing, probably. I mean, we have great passers. They're always putting the ball up, and Kinsey, she's a great setter. So just that consistency that everyone just, brings each other definitely helps. Yeah, you guys are a ton of fun to watch, and it's just great. So here's a couple of maybe some light questions. If you could trade positions with one teammate for one day, and it doesn't have to be on the court, who would it be and why? In a day in their shoes, in their life, who would it be and why? I'm going to have to go with Kinsey. I like setting a lot. Not the greatest set all the time, but something that, I don't know, I've always liked to set. Really? So, I did not know that. I take Kinsey out. Fabulous. All right. Well, tall setter, that could be fun. That could be fun. All right. Let's see. Next one. If the Arrows made a team movie, oh gosh, who is going to play you and who's going to play Coach Bellum? Okay, for me, I'm going to have to give it to either Kerrigan or Callie. Okay. Definitely we match each other's energy.
And for Bellum, I might just have to give it to Anna, her daughter. Like,
well, she would know that.
I mean,
yeah. Well, very good. Hey, we're not going to keep you any longer. Your team down there is signing posters here tonight. It is senior night, and hey, you have been a lot of fun to watch this year. We have another year to watch you, but we also are going to have a home game here for the Sodak 16.
Yes.
So good luck. Have fun tomorrow, and we'll see you back here at the Civic Arena for your next match.
Thanks,
All right, that is Reese Munger joining us on the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union DFS Insurance post-game show. The Watertown Arrows do defeat the Yankton Gazelles here in 4 sets, 3-1. Reese Munger finishes her night with 2 aces, 5 kills, 2 blocks, and 2 digs. So we will stay in touch. We will be back live here on Arrow TV for the Sodak 16 home game. That is a playoff game. If you haven't came out and watched this Arrow TV or Arrow volleyball team, come out to the Civic Arena. Watch this team, and they are fun to watch. They have firepower that, we may not have even seen a full line of firepower since 2019, and they were the state champions. So come on out, enjoy this Watertown Arrow TV. And for all of us at Arrow TV, I want to remind you that an arrow can only be shot by pulling it backwards. So when life is dragging you back with difficulties, it means it's going to launch you into something great. So just focus and keep aiming. I am Cam Corey, and for all of us at Arrow TV, good evening.